Welcome to Destination Divergence, episode 69. This is the Winds of Change group, exploring Zendrick as they have pushed south, deeper into the continent from Stormreach. With you is Captain Venet Dillarandar, who has left his crew behind with his first mate in charge in order to lighten the load. And well, he saw how strong you all were and figured he didn't actually need his crew with him if he's got enough supplies for the 5 of you. Actually, 6 of you. Forgot about Anka. Oops. How dare. You have recently completed some downtime during the travel south, and finally, after what I believe was almost a week of travel, the needle on Carrick's compass has begun to move, indicating you're getting closer to your target and you need to start correcting your course. You had all just woken up from a long rest, and now we'll begin the final bit of travel here, hopefully, depending on how well everything goes, as you try to navigate towards the final seal, or the next seal, rather. I don't know where final came from at all, because it's not. But the next seal, my brain just decided you're looking for the final seal. Final part of the journey with the next seal.
Now the DM spoiled us.
Yep, no, some of the final seal, guys. There's only 2. It was all a big bait that there was 3. All right.
All that research for nothing.
All that research for nothing.
Years of academy training wasted.
All right, so Carrick, if you are piloting the ship with the help of Venet, can you go ahead and give me a I'll say a survival check to try and navigate here, try and find the best route without overshooting your destination.
I'll flash it to a 10.
Okay, it becomes a 10. You would think that reading a compass would be fairly easy in this kind of circumstance, but it turns out to not be as precise as you hoped originally. You figure maybe somewhere along the way the needle will flip or move drastically, and then you'll be able to just turn on the spot and, settle in and course correct from there. But unfortunately, you drive for a ways and the needle just continually moves around. It was nice from a distance, but it's much harder to read up this close, and you're struggling to fill in the gaps as you drive around for a good portion of the day without really seeming to get much closer. You don't notice any landmarks in the area that it obviously points to or anything like that for your shift of driving. So Venet will take the lead for the rest of the day, but you feel like the needle's moving a lot more than it was before, so you're definitely closer, but it's just really hard to pin down where you're actually landing here.
Yeah, I'll explain that to Bennett as I change shifts.
All right. If you are going to be reading the compass again, can you give me another survival check?
Sure.
Much better.
That's much better.
So with some more time spent with it and with less of your mind occupied on actually piloting the vessel, you manage to figure out what you think is the right direction, where you're pretty sure you're supposed to be going. And you end up sort of circling around a location for a little bit. And like I said, there's no real landmarks in the area. There's lots of trees. There are trees covering everything in this area. However, the area you finally end up circling looks like a hill. Again, covered in trees, but all of these trees are much elevated over the ones around them in what looks to be a hill-like pattern underneath. But it's so dense you can't see what's beneath.
So do we seem to have arrived to the general area that we're trying to get to?
As you circle this hill, the compass continually points at the hill. but that's a pretty large area. And also, you can't see beneath the canopy to see what is on the hill, what the hill is, any of that.
All right, boys. This seems like, boys and girls, this seems like as far as our ship will take us.
Okay. And the wings go up. I'm ready.
Yes, so do we have a plan for getting down there or getting back up here later? Are we just gonna leave it above the trees, or?
Yeah, usually not too many things can bother it up there.
Fair enough.
Getting down, I forget, how far do the harnesses go from the ship?
Just beyond the rings around the ship, so like 40-ish feet.
Gotcha.
Depending on the side of the ship you're talking about.
As high as we'll be, because we'll have to stay above the tree line, or the canopy rather, might not quite make it down to the ground with the harness.
Well, I can fly down, but I'm not strong enough to take him with me. I don't believe.
Three of us can fly, and one of us, I'm pretty sure, can just like run straight down that tree.
But I think I can get myself down well enough as long as you can get me up afterwards.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get you up.
We can definitely do that, yeah.
Oh, all right. He starts kind of cracking some of his joints and like preparing himself for what's about to happen. Haven't had a chance to flex these skills in quite a while.
He's not planning on just jumping off, is he?
Well, yes, but with some magic involved.
I'm excited to see this. Do go ahead.
Are you asking him to go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Need you
Roll
down
me a
there.
persuasion check.
Nakara will just go. Fuck it.
Oh, okay.
No, let this happen, you fucker. 28.
Okay. All right, I guess I'll meet you all down there as well. And he, just leaps off the boat, and as he falls, he kind of pulls back his sleeve, and you can see the dragon mark kind of spiraling up his arm, and it just flashes green, and he begins to drift with his arm up over his head. Just sort of drift, like the rest of his body is hanging from that arm, and he slowly falls to the ground.
As he like gets far enough out of earshot, I just go, man, I sure don't hope he hurts himself.
And he disappears beneath the canopy. Nakarth, you were jumping off as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Series wrap unvented, everybody.
And I fly.
I imagine I'll just like catch myself on the branches of the tree and climb, like run down, more or less.
Okay. So your first impact is, with the trees themselves, the upper canopy, the leaves in the way and such. You managed to grab onto some of those, and the distance from the ship, thanks to your slow fall ability, is not significant enough for you to take any damage as you hit the tops of the trees. However, you start to swing branch to branch, climbing around beneath, and as you get through the canopy to the under canopy, you can see it's quite a drop below. You would estimate over 100 feet, maybe 200. Not that that's a problem for you necessarily, but it surprises you how much space is beneath. And I'll let the others describe how they get down as well before I give any other description of the area underneath the canopy. But yeah, that's the first thing you notice.
I'm just straight up flying down with fly.
All right. Is there any plan to take Anka down, or is she going to stay up on the ship?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was gonna ask her to guard the ship, and I realize we really need to figure out a way to let her contact us remotely. for these situations, but for now, yeah, I'm just gonna leave her. Oh gosh.
I could cast fly on her.
Well, I think I mean I kind of want her to be guarding. No, let's have her with us. No one's gonna be able to pilot the ship anyway. And it's up above the tree line. Hey, Carrick, if you're okay with leaving the ship unmanned, I'm okay with that. I would like to have Anka with us if possible.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not too sure that we'll have much issue with things invading it up here in the middle of nowhere, but you never know.
All right, yeah. If you can cast fly, oh no, I can't. I can't carry anyone, right?
What's your strength?
8, baby.
Yeah, not unless they're a pretty small person. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to carry Anka for sure. Even her equipment alone would probably be a struggle.
That's pretty true.
She is very strong to be able to carry the gear that she carries. And that's using feet on land, not wings. Alright, so is Anka coming down with you, it sounds like? Just the fly spell? Alright. Yep, cool. So, I believe that means the rest of you are flying, while the two people jump down into the trees below using magic to slow themselves a little bit and manage their fall. The rest of you just soaring behind them, slightly slower, managing your speed magically as well. Really, this is all just falling with style, just with different forms of magic here.
You want to give a quick reminder to everyone that you have 19 temporary hit points.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Good point, thank you.
More than one.
All right. As you duck beneath the canopy to see what is below, you're met with quite a sight. What you thought was a hill appears to be a rather large structure that has been caved in and crumbled in many ways, overrun by nature on every nook and cranny. You almost would mistake it for just a regular old hill if it didn't have certain elements of structure to it and order rather than chaos. There are would look like towers and like a pyramid in the middle, and almost looks like a very large castle that has been collapsed. Even the surfaces of this castle are growing trees, though, and those trees rise up to form the canopy above, which completely blocks out the sun down here. It is dark. There is some ambient light sort of scattering through the leaves and across the grounds here, but it's really not a lot. At the very top of this structure, can I get everybody to roll me a perception check?
Oh no.
It gets dust in both of her eyes.
19.
All right. Carrick and Nakareth, you both manage to see as you're falling down to the floor below, just at the top of the structure, there appears to be some sort of large pool of water that you barely catch some light glinting off of here and there. And that's sort of cascading down in smaller parts of the structure around. The rest of you only catch glimpses of the structure as you sink below through the gaps in the dense forest here. And so do you all just sink down all the way to the bottom, catch up with Nakareth and Venet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. The floor of the jungle is just as dense as the canopy, but with, undergrowth. There are many different types of bushes and plants down here that there's hardly any dirt to walk on. It's going to be fairly difficult to navigate this area unless you have alternative means of travel, which thankfully a bunch of you do. A bunch of you have flycast on you right now. Nakareth can hop from tree to tree, but unfortunately, Venet is stuck with just having kind of floated to the ground and is now just wading through muck and plant matter.
It must look terrifying to anybody watching from the bushes. Just kind of floating.
Yeah, you all did just plummet from the sky. Also, do any of you lack dark vision? I'm pretty sure a couple of you do.
I lack dark vision, and I never got a lantern anywhere, I don't think.
So it is dim light here, so you can still see, but it is disadvantaged on perception checks and stuff now that you're down here, and all of that.
All right.
Is that something that the light spell would help, or if it's
Yes.
dim light, is that okay? I'm casting light on just my own garment.
Okay. You cast light on your own garment. And it's strange. It almost feels like the light from the spell is being muffled somehow. It's not as bright as it usually is. Like, the darkness down here is just oppressive, despite not being complete darkness.
In a magical way?
Effectively, you can see that the light spell that you've cast has half the radius it usually does. It still functions, but it's significantly reduced for some reason.
Can I like make a arcane assessment to see if like, or almost like versus nature, if I can think of anything natural that would do this, or if I can deduce that it is pretty much almost entirely the result of like some sort of spell?
Well, I'd let you choose nature or arcana here, if you're depending on which
It's arcana.
yeah, depending on what you're trying to. Those are two separate things. It's determining if a natural effect is doing this or if a spell is doing this.
If a spell is doing it.
All right, go ahead and roll that.
Hmm.
Yeah, you've not heard of a spell that would just randomly snuff out lights like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you noticed anybody casting a spell on you or anything, and you've not heard of any spell that would cover a wide range that would do this.
That that is what it is then. Moving on.
All right. Anybody have anything I could get out of this muck with? Or am I just gonna be wading down here?
You might just be waiting down there, yes.
Well, I suppose that's fair enough.
Anka will be waiting in like 10 minutes into it too. Same with Clemens.
Wait, you know
Indeed,
that
yes.
you know that thing parents do with kids sometimes, where like they each hold one hand and just kind of like swing the kid forward? You should totally do that. Just airlift one in each, one hand each.
Perfect.
Faye, do you get your wings all the time?
Oh yeah, it's permanent now.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, fucking rules. Thanks, traveler.
So how far away are we from this structure?
You all look around. Is Nakarth, do you ask us out loud, or are you just asking me for information?
I'm asking the DM.
All right, Nakarth, you look up, and do you remember which direction the structure was in as you fell? Can you estimate, it's not a super far walk. You landed like right next to the hill. Wading through the muck would slow down Venet, and you would estimate it's going to take him a little bit to get there. The rest of you could probably fly over there in just a couple minutes.
I'm going to summon an earth elemental and have him carry Venet on one shoulder and me on the other, if that's fine.
Okay.
That's sick.
That works.
All right. Clemens, as you reach out to summon this earth elemental that you've so recently learned to master, You feel the magic surge back into your spell as if you've tapped into a pressurized reservoir. And the earth elemental that pops out is several feet taller and much bulkier than you're used to. But it still obeys your commands.
Huh.
Oh,
That's
dear.
pretty cool. I've never summoned one of these in particular before. Are they supposed to be that tall? It felt a little strange. It felt like there was a lot more energy there than I was expecting.
Ah, this must be a rather large manifest zone.
Carrick will try and let me see. What do I got here? He will just try his gust cantrip and just like fire out like as strong as he can with the gust cantrip.
All right. You reach out with this magic that is not only familiar to you, but innate. And you just push out through the air. It feels like a pretty normal gust of wind. Rolls along.
My gust doesn't seem to be any different.
Very strange.
That's badass, though. That just gonna carry you around?
I hope so. Will he, in fact, be able to carry the both of us around?
Pretty likely, yeah. He's an extra thick earth elemental.
Oh my.
And, I mean, it's not like they have much trouble carrying things around in the first place. It sort of just, as it lifts you both, it sort of just pushes through the muck as if there's nothing even there. There's no resistance at all as it just kind of glides across the
Perfect.
ground.
He is our land ship.
Indeed. All right. So there's still Anka's still flying for now. The rest of her flying except for Nakarth, who can probably just monk shit around. Just tree to tree.
Yeah.
It's pretty dense foliage in here.
Tree to tree, and I can walk on liquids, so it's
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
plenty of things for you to work with here.
like if there's 50 feet between solid spaces, I'm perfectly fine. Hell, if there's 110 feet between solid spaces, I'm okay.
He's just in a playground right now.
Welcome to the jungle gym.
We got plenty games.
Perfect.
I'll smite you.
All right. So Nakarth, do you all head out? I should say, not just Nakarth, but do you all head out towards this destination?
Yes.
Yeah, keep our head on a swivel for anything that might be in the area. But yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
all... Sorry.
as we've been in this forest, have I been hearing like a lot of signs of wildlife or around and that kind of stuff, or has it been quiet?
There's the gentle sound of, a breeze blowing through everything and shifting things and some flowing water here and there. Other than that, it's pretty quiet at the moment.
Strange that I don't hear any wildlife. Usually you'd hear a bird or something. Especially with this many trees around. It seems odd.
perhaps it is a result of the curse.
So you take note of that, and then you all begin to head off towards the structure. Only you all turn and face different directions and begin walking forward away from each other before realizing what just happened.
Oh dear.
What just happened?
You're all very sure that the direction you were going is where you last saw the structure.
Where are you all going? All those other places. We're supposed to be going this way.
This.
We're going the same way, Clemens.
I thought it was over there, Clemens. Why are you sending the elemental that way?
It wasn't over there. It was definitely over here. I just saw it.
Huh.
How on earth could you think it was over there? You see where the sun is, right?
No.
There's no possible way it could have been over there. I suppose we can't really... The trees are somewhat occluding.
Yeah, I can't really see where the sun is now.
I mean, look at that bright spot there, though. Like,
That
that's
bright spot
that's
there,
where the
okay.
sun is, right?
That would make sense, yeah.
Or maybe it's that one. I think that one's a little bright. Yes, that one's probably. But it was definitely in that direction, though.
Hold on.
Oh dear.
Let's stop for a second. And is there like a piece of like solid ground or something that Kara can sit down on or stand on?
It's pretty much muck and plants in the area. There are like occasionally little outcroppings of rock you could probably fly over to, but it.
That's good enough.
Yeah, like 100 feet or so away.
He'll fly over to a rock outcropping that he has enough room to stand on, and he will start ritual casting detect magic.
Okay.
Hold on, while you do that, I want to try something. And Faye's gonna fly perfectly straight up. And I want to clear the canopy and see if I can then see like the hill as we saw it from above. That was like clearly the way that we were supposed to be going.
Okay. Faye flies straight up back into the canopy, up through the leaves, and you can see the hill. It's right over there.
Okay. So I'm going to orient myself to it and then just slowly float back downwards, facing the same direction.
All right, you slowly sink down, facing the same direction. And you realize that you land in like the same spot in the circle of your party members that you were in before, but you're facing a completely different direction than you were before.
I see it in front of me.
No, you can't see the structure right now.
Okay. Oh. Hey, y'all. I think I'm pointing at it right now. Because
Would that happen to line up with the compass?
oh, let me see.
It is the direction Nakareth was pointing originally. And as you pull out the compass to check, Karek, that's the direction the compass is pointing as well.
Okay.
I believe we'll have to rely upon the compass. This curse is annoying.
Yeah, let's once how long you got left on that cast, Carrick?
Takes 10 minutes.
Yeah, so just
I'm
as
just
a
gonna
note,
fly.
yeah, the fly spells will end by that. Which is not the end of the world. People can stomp through the muck, but it will slow you down a little bit in travel.
I mean, I think we can surmise that there's magic happening regardless. We might want to just try to get there using the compass. What do you think?
If you want me to stop now and we can just get there and while people can still fly, we can do that. That's fine.
Let's do that.
All right, let's hit it.
All right.
All right.
So that you all feel this urge again when Carrick says, let's hit it, to scatter in different directions. But you suppress it, you realize that, well, if Faye's pointed this way, you're pretty sure that's the way, you've got the compass. You just have to keep on, like, consciously telling yourself not to wander from the group. As what feels like forward to you keeps shifting for some reason. You find yourself slowly, foot by foot, farther away from the group.
Lead everyone in a mantra
Before-
of follow the Fae.
Correcting back to the course that Faye is on. After a short distance, Nakareth,
Yes.
you hear some motion ahead of you. I'd assume you'd be one of the fastest of the group, up a little bit ahead, even though you're pointing the same direction as Faye and trying to stay with the group. You also have very high passive perception.
I'd put my hand up and be like, hold on. There's something, and ping the person behind me. There's something
Faye.
up ahead. Oh, Faye.
Yeah. I will just silently like raise up a hand to stop.
All right, the group stops, gathers behind Faye. The rustling and movement stops, Nakareth, but that is the first any kind of movement you've heard in several minutes.
It stopped. I think we be careful.
Carrick is going to cast invisibility on himself
Okay.
and then fly ahead of Nakarath towards the sound of the rustling.
Wouldn't that end fly?
He's got. Well, that would unfly on Anka. Yes. So Anka would plummet to the muck, but Karuk would still have flight due to his boots.
Yeah, before he casts it, he would say, Anka, I would get down in the mud. I'm gonna end your spell real quick.
She'll just nod silently and drift down into the mud.
And then he'll turn invisible and try and fly over towards the sound.
All right. Your invisible form flies out over the muck, weaving between trees, towards where Nakarth indicated originally. Can you give me a perception check, please? All right. There we go. You look through the plants below you as you slowly drift, trying to take in as much detail as you can. And you see, poking out between some of the leaves below, a very large reptilian tail sticking out, just gently waving. The motion is what caught your eye.
Am I like connected to Nakara's mind link?
How far can that reach?
Yes.
Probably would be.
60 feet, I think.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd still be connected. It's not far ahead of you.
Cool. He would say, there's some kind of...
Oh, 10 times.
Oh, dope. So yeah, he'd just say, there's some kind of large reptilian creature in there. I can only see its tail.
We need to get Anka out of the muck. Now. We're at least up here.
Could you climb a tree?
I will project this down to Anka then. Anka, can you climb up a tree?
Wait, can you all project to each other? I thought you could only project to Nakarth and back.
I think I have the cantrip too.
Oh, you've got message. Gotcha. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
we were using Nakarth's mind link. But if you've got message, that would make sense.
Mind link's only
I
one
do
person at a
that.
time.
I do that separately to the message.
All right. See
Yeah, I
message,
would
okay.
gently speak.
Yeah, she
to
just
let Faye
grabs
know.
onto the nearest tree and just tries to slowly and stealthily, but it's taking a lot of her effort to haul her armor and sword up the tree as she pulls herself out of the muck slowly. I'm gonna have her check for that as well. Oops. Her armor kind of clinks a bit as she's climbing the tree. It's pretty hard for her to be stealthy right now. But she's out of the muck and she's up in the air. A few good feet off of the plants at the bottom.
Does the creature react to the noise at all?
When you hear the noise, Carrick, the tail kind of like twitches a little bit and then freezes. Like it's tensing up.
I don't want to fight this if we don't have to. Let's...
Carrick, from your vantage
I fear
point
taking a different path.
as well, just a second later, you see rustling off to your right. If you're facing the party, it would be off to your right.
Additional rustling, like some other source?
Additional rustling, and then off to your left again, just a second later, additional rustling off to your left.
He'll send a message over to Faye and say, seems like there's more. We may not have a choice.
They appear to be shifting towards the party, outwards into flanking positions. Slowly.
Nakarath, we're surrounded.
Then I believe we should just go forward and attack.
Yeah, Carrick is just gonna say, I'm going to take a preemptive strike, and he's just gonna dive down invisible against the one that he's been staring at.
All right, then
The closest one to the party, right?
the closest one to the party was the one that you were above at the moment. Yes.
Yeah, so he's gonna come down in Booming Blade.
All
As in the moment that this is starting, like I'm not sure how much I can do this preemptively, but I would like to get like as high up of a vantage point as I can take, like up in the air. I want to be like out of any potential ground attack range, but like still in vision of everyone. So maybe like 60 feet off the ground.
Okay. Like 60 feet off the ground. Okay, it starts to get pretty hard to see everyone in that dim light. But yeah, you can get there, and you'll still be able to see, the rough locations of your allies. But making attack rolls from up there might be a little bit more difficult depending on the situation.
Right. In that case, not as high up now.
Okay.
I rolled the same twice.
Like 30, 40? What you thinking?
Like whatever the edge is of where I start to kind of lose.
Okay, we'll say like 40 feet.
Yeah.
So you're up there a little bit, but not so high that it starts to get hard to see anything through the dense foliage and just low light conditions. So there should be an encounter started. If everyone could roll me initiative, please. Because as Carrick descends onto this target, you begin to get a clearer picture of your foe, Carrick, as a large, snake-like creature with 2 humanoid arms bearing several different weapons is what is hiding in the bushes below.
Oh boy.
Does a 17 hit?
A 17 would hit, yes.
It doesn't look like an encounter started, and when I click initiative, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, probably because I need to actually add tokens to the map. That's fine. We will throw our tokens on the... No, let's activate the landing page. Your tokens are there.
Doot.
I will add an encounter, and then I will throw out tokens for the creatures that are attacking you. Despite them not representing any physical space on a map here, just to show you representations, that's what you're facing. Cool.
All right, so 10 slashing, 4 thunder.
Okay.
I don't know if I only get 1 swing or if I get extra attack.
We'll say just 1 for this, since it's like a bonus, anyways, before combat. All right. Cool. That's everybody in. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop out the combats, make sure that is up on here. Go ahead and begin, and let's throw on some music. All right. So, Carrick, the one you attacked immediately spins to face you. Its reaction time was good. You just hit it, and it begins to swing at you with its scimitar. All right. Oops, that is the wrong button. All right, it's going to swing at you with its scimitar first. That's only a 10 to hit. It is then going to attempt to wrap itself around you.
Sheet.
Only a 12 to hit. Low rolls. And then it was going to attempt to bite you. 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. For 18 piercing and poison damage. I can break that down if you need it, if you have resistance one of those.
Nope, that should be good.
Alright, as its snake-like fangs inject a bit of poison into you, making the wound worse. That is the end of its turn. Faye, you're up.
Right. How tightly grouped are they?
One is right ahead of your party, about 30 feet ahead. The other two have sort of moved to flanking positions around the party. and are about 15 and 20 feet respectively on the sides of the party. So the party's in the middle, and the snakes are on cardinal directions from the party, essentially. If that
They're not close then.
not
Yeah.
close. Nope.
That does.
As Carrot got bit, she says, "Your bite's not even as strong as my cat's speech."
I'm gonna keep it simple then. I'm going to just do a I'll do a first level firebolt at the one by Carrick.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, 24. That is definitely
That is a hit, yes.
Alright, that's 11 fire damage. And I will also spiritual weapon.
Okay.
Also hit. 10 force damage.
All right. Yeah, it would be within 60 feet of you. Okay, so perfect. You can throw down the spiritual weapon, which hovers there. And yep, that is indeed a hit. 10 force damage.
And that's it.
All right, Clemens, you're up.
Going to jump down from the elemental and rush the, I suppose, the closest abomination to me.
All right. Yeah, they're all fairly close to you. There's one ahead that's like 20 feet ahead, one 20 feet to the left, and one 15 feet to the right.
Okay, I'll go directly ahead then.
Go right ahead. Right ahead is the one that has been getting attacked. That's a hit.
And then I will bonk.
Oh, that is a hit.
And does the elemental act on its own turn? 1 second, I should have remembered that from earlier.
It acts on your turn and obeys your rebel commands,
Okay.
taking no action of your own.
I'm going to yell at it to... was there one on the left, you said?
Yep, there's one on the left, one on the right, and
Okay.
one ahead.
I'm going to run for the... tell him to go up to the one on the left and bludgeon it into the ground. In 1 second, I'm grabbing the stat block for it.
Okay.
If I
Treat this
can.
spell as if it was cast one level higher, by the way.
Okay.
For anyone that matters.
Okay, multi-attack. It's gonna make 2 attacks. It's going to be... my modifier to hit. I'm sorry this is taking so long.
No worries. I really should remember to just enter these stat blocks in Foundry at some point.
Okay, so I will use my lightning burst as to hit, essentially.
Alright.
And that damage is going to be 1d10 and plus 4 plus 5. So that is 14
Pretty
bludgeoning.
good.
And he's going to make a second attack.
Go for it. Another hit.
Pass turn.
Alright, Clemens. As you shock and grasp and use the bone staff on the abomination ahead of you, the one that had attacked Carrick previously, it has most of its attention focused on Carrick at the moment, and so you manage to get a little bit of a drop on it, and the bone staff seems to hit extra hard. It did not expect its foe to be this formidable, and it's starting to look pretty hurt already. Nakareth, you're up.
Well, I think I'm gonna go. Well, as a bonus action, I activate the Visage in Arms, and then I will stand 10 feet away from the one that's been getting wailed on and attack it twice.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. I will get close to it, then summon the arms, and then attack. Because I keep forgetting that's a thing now.
That does make sense. Yep. So it is going to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
17.
That. Fuck.
Your save appears to be 18, so that fails.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. 6 force damage from the summoning, and then 2 attacks. That's a hit.
That is indeed a hit.
The extra 1d8 is for the first time I hit on a turn, so 21 points of force damage.
Indeed.
Is he still alive?
Still alive. You hit him with this attack, its neck kind of cranes out a little bit and it begins to hold up its arms just in a defensive form now entirely, just trying to survive this beatdown.
Fair. And then second attack.
It hisses at you as you make this attack. That's a hit.
I will put an extra d8 into this.
Go for it.
Another 19.
All right. So with this blow, you knock aside both of its arms trying to defend its head and strike directly at the base of its neck and just hear a loud crack. And the form kind of crumples to the ground and begins to sink into the muck.
Well, that's one down.
All right. The other two abominations hiss, and one of them rushes in towards Anka. He's going to attempt to make a contested athletics check with her. Try and pull her down off the tree. Oh boy, Anka did not roll well, unfortunately. Her bonus is a +10, and it got a 20 total. She got a 14 total. She gets pulled down off the tree, and now she is restrained and grappled by the abomination as it begins to pull her down into the muck away from the group, and disappears beneath the underbrush.
Oh dear.
Karak, it's your turn. The UNT that was in front of you is dead.
All right, he'll fly up a bit, and does he see Bennett around?
Yep. Venet is still like just trudging through the muck, I believe. Is that the case, or did some? No, he was on the back of the elemental that Clemens sent over to beat down on the only other damage.
So he's being carried over.
Yeah, he's on the back of the elemental.
I'll say, Bennett, can you fight?
Don't know that he has a choice in the matter.
I'll do what I can.
If you can't hide.
All right.
And then Carrick will make his way over towards the one that that the elemental was heading towards.
Okay. Yep, that's the one that has. Yep, Bennett. The elemental is at it, and it is currently engaged with it. So you can go ahead and get there. It's not very far. You're easily able to fly up to it.
Yeah. And then I will engage my blade song. And what do we do here? Yeah, let's just swing on this guy. I'll just take a couple attacks.
That's a hit. All right.
Ooh.
Good one.
All right.
Good one.
That's my turn.
All right. You managed to land some solid damage on the one that was engage with the elemental and Venet. That one is going up next, and it is going to turn to you, Karik, since you so recently turned up. And it's going to start making some rolls. It's first going to try and it extends out using its long tail to push itself out towards you and attempting to wrap its body around you. Ooh, that is a 25 to hit.
Now that I have my blade song up, I will cast shield. And that will miss.
Alright. So it wraps itself around the arcane bubble that you put up to defend yourself, which is familiar, as a long time ago a beast tried to eat you and you created a bubble and it got stuck in its mouth. Very similar situation here, but on a much smaller scale. And you just sort of squeeze out of its grasp instead of being completely grappled by it. It will then try to bite you as you flee. What's your new AC?
27.
Okay.
Jesus.
That's a miss. And it's going to finally try and hit you with the scimitar, which is also a miss. That's its turn. Faye, you're up.
Right, so I'm assuming, I'd say almost certainly from my vantage point, I saw Anka get pulled down.
You did, yes. You saw the snake-like creature reach up out of the underbrush, yank Anka down beneath it. You haven't seen her since that. Just a few seconds.
Yeah. So, right at that point, I'm just getting close enough to Nakareth, casting haste on him, and as I'm doing that, I'm yelling. The third one took Anka, and I point in the exact direction, like, go get her. So I've casted haste on him, and then with whatever movement I have left, I'm going to also take off in the direction of that snake.
Okay, so getting down to within range of Nakareth wouldn't take you too much, because you've got 30 feet of range there. And then you rush off that way. So, you rush off in the direction that you last saw the snake, but you don't have visuals on it at the moment, unfortunately.
Mm.
So, use haste as your action to cast, and you glance around, but you're not really sure where it went at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just like looking out for any sign of movement or anything.
All right. Cool. Right now you don't see anything. It would be your action to try and like perceive your surroundings like pretty effectively, but you cast haste, so that's your turn for now. But you're pretty sure you're at least roughly in the area, and if it starts moving, maybe you'll catch sight of it then.
Then with my bonus action, I'm just gonna pull my spiritual weapon like as just kind of in the direction of both of the remaining ones, just however close that is.
Okay, so sort of towards where the group was ambushed, like the middle of the party?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, towards the middle.
Cool. So you pull that in, which it makes it just right to where the party had stopped before this ambush had begun.
Okay.
Clemens, you're up.
Sorry, I was eating a cracker.
No worries.
I continue to shocking bonk.
Shocking bonk.
Oops.
The one you most recently bonked is dead. So you could move to either the one that's on the left where your elemental was, and the other one has disappeared into the muck. You're not exactly sure where that one is at the moment.
I'll go to the left one then.
All right. You can rush
Will
over
a 16 hit?
there. It will. All right. That will hit. Woof.
And will command the elemental to bonk.
Elemental will bonk.
Will a 14 hit?
That is a miss.
Alright, pass turn.
It did do 11 damage with the first one. Good, good. All right. Icarus, you're up.
Do I want to first look around to see if I can see the one that stole Anka?
All right, so you're using your action for a perception check.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll that perception check. How much dark
I
vision have
do.
you got?
120 feet right now.
Okay. Yeah, so this will not be at disadvantage.
Nat 20 for a 25.
25, okay. Looking around and, well, using all of your senses, not just your eyes, you hear just the sounds of... There's lots of struggle going on around you in general. It's combat, but you hear specifically sounds of struggle that are separate from the rest, off in a specific direction. You take off in that direction. It's not far from you. You can easily get there with haste.
All right, cool, because I have 110 feet of movement.
Oh yeah, tons.
So I will get there and then take my bonus action to attack it, and then my hasted action to attack it. So
Yeah,
still
that
2
works.
attacks.
Other order, but that does make sense. Either way.
Oh wait, shit. I don't think I can use my...
If you take the attack action as your hasted action, that's still the attack action for the purposes of bonus action. I would say, at least. I don't know if that's official
Okay.
or not, but
Sweet,
that makes
I'll
sense
take
to
it.
me. I'm pretty sure it's still the attack action, just doesn't have multi-attack.
Fair.
Miss.
Whoops.
All right.
That should hit.
You leap over this creature. You're running so fast that you overtake it, but as you sort of pass by its position, you just strike with each fist really quickly and then like land in front of it. And that 25 does hit.
And it takes 12 points of damage.
All right.
Yeah.
And by
That's
standing out over it, the rest of you can now roughly see its location, since Nakarth has sort of revealed it by striking at its location. All right. Anka is now going to attempt to break out of the grasp she is in. With a 28. She wrestles free and like pops up out of the mud, covered in mud everywhere. She sort of like stands up, her hair flips back and just slings mud over the back of her. And she begins to draw her greatsword. She's very angry. But that is her turn. The one that grabbed her is now going to attempt to attack you, Nakarth, because you foiled its plan. It's going to attempt to constrict you with a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. You take 11 bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled and restrained.
Wow, no save or anything? Fuck.
Okay. If it hits the grapples. It is then going to attempt to bite you. At advantage. Holy shit! At advantage because you're restrained, I got 2 natural ones.
Oh my.
It tries to bite you, and Anka just sticks out her armored arm, and it chomps down on the armor and can't pierce through, and she's just like, It's then going to attempt to swing its scimitar at you. Much better. 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
All right. It's angrily hissing at Anka with its teeth kind of stuck in her armor, but it still stabs you with its other arm that it's not using at the moment. For another 12 piercing damage.
Damn. So
Slashing
4.
damage, sorry. Wrong ability. Either way. Okay, after that, it is, Venet is going to take his turn. And from the back of the Earth Elemental, he is going to cast Lightning, Firebolt, sorry. I was thinking Lightning Burst because Clement said that, but no, Firebolt. It's like, wait a minute, I'm confused.
Turns out all pirates just know lightning burst.
Yeah, true.
And literally anybody on a boat. Replace fire with
is
lightning, it just makes sense.
For, oof, 2 10s. He gets 20 damage, fire damage to his target. Pretty good. Alright. Karik, you're up.
Alright, Kirk is gonna take 3 swings. Oof.
Ooh. Unfortunate. That's a hit. Alright. Bunch of damage there. That is indeed a hit.
All right, another 11.
Yep. So you take your 3 swipes here. The first one it manages to deflect, but it's obviously wearing down. You knock its blade aside with your first strike, and then just 2 quick strikes across the chest, opening it up, and it just collapses to the ground, trying to close its wounds, but bleeding out all over the place. And it's not doing so well. Anything else, Kark?
It's still up.
Nope. It is down.
It is down.
It's bleeding out on the floor.
He is going to fly on over to the last one.
Okay, how much fly speed do you have?
45.
Okay, so you're a little short at the moment, because 45 would take you... Wait, no, that should be good, actually. I did my math wrong. Sorry. Yes, that should be enough.
And that's it.
Okay. So you're up next to it. It is now surrounded by Nikarith, who is being grappled by it, as well as Anka and Carrick. It's not looking good for this last one. Faye, you're up. Anka is sticking up out of the mud. She appears already.
Yeah, I see that, but I still just hell's fury in my eye. Just get close enough to that last one and firebolt it right in the head.
Go for
Yo,
it.
how fucking dare you? 25, that'll do.
That does hit.
Yeah, 19, that's spice.
Sheesh. Alright. Anything else, Faye?
With my spiritual weapon having gotten where it is, can it reach Snake?
Just barely. Yes, just barely.
Hell yeah.
That's
18?
a hit. Yep.
Ooh. Not great.
Alright, decent chunk of damage for the turn. Clevens.
What snakes can I see at the moment?
There is one that is surrounded by Nikarith, Anka, and Kark off to the right.
Is there any way for me to get in, or will that be impossible?
It's currently about 45. About 45 feet away from you. Kark had just made it over. So if you've got a way to get there, that's up to you.
Alright. I am going to leave the elemental where he is. I'm going to walk 30 feet out. And definitely not going to cast ball lightning in the middle of them. I guess I'm going to cast lightning burst at the target.
Go for it. That's a hit. Whew, nice.
And that will be past turn.
Okay.
I'm going to have the elemental prepare an attack if an enemy comes within melee range of it.
Okay, noted. Nikarith, you are restrained. If you would like to break free, that's an action. You are also hasted.
Yeah, I would like to break free.
Give me an athletics check.
Okay, I will take that with wisdom.
Indeed you can.
23.
All right. You pry your astral arms down between your body and the snake's form, and you just push outwards, and it's struggling to just wrap around you, but you're stronger. You manage to shove up enough space that you can wiggle free.
Wonderful, and then I will punch him twice.
Go for it.
$24.
That's a hit.
16 and second attack. 23 to hit with 9 force damage.
All right.
And that's my turn, as I will stand next to him still.
Okie doke. Anka's gonna take some attacks. That's a hit. Check for crit. Nope, not a crit. Cool. That's a hit. Alright. It's going to take its turn, and it is going to disengage from you all and try to slip away. As it just kind of sinks down into the mud. And uses its full movement to get as far away from you all as it can.
Does that provoke attacks of opportunity?
It's disengaged.
Literally the opposite of provokes attacks of opportunity.
Okay.
Then it can't really do much. He's on the back of the elemental, so Karak, you're up.
How far away is it?
It ducked into the mud. Can you give me... Actually... I feel like with you up so close... Yeah, it just seemed to kind of disappear. It rolled very high on stealth versus your past perception. You could try to actively perceive it if you want.
I will attempt that.
Okay, give me a perception check. If you have dark vision, it is not at disadvantage.
I will flash it.
Okay. With a 25 total, you are unable to locate the creature.
I can't see it. Yeah, shit. Was that my action?
That was your action.
Yeah. That's all I can do.
Okay. Faye, you have no idea where this thing just went. It disappeared into the mud and underbrush below. And seems very good at staying stealthy in this environment. Especially when it's not trying to drag something away.
Even from a higher vantage point, I wasn't able to see any like rustling of it going in a particular direction.
No, you saw it just sort of like sunk down, but that's how it disengaged for everyone. It just kind of sunk into the mud, like it just disappeared beneath the ground. And if you want to try and notice any details, you can give me an action and a perception check, but at the moment you're not really sure where it went. It's only been seconds since it disappeared, so there's not been much time for you to catch details.
That's what I'm gonna do. Because there had to be like a vague, like whatever side was kind of away from the one with people in it, because it had to go kind of like backwards or something, I feel. I'm gonna drop a friendly fireball with the edge like starting right where like the group of people was and then out 40 feet, so covering that whole, I don't know if I'm describing this right, but like I'm basically banking on it didn't go the other side of us, so I'm covering this whole range like on the side where I thought it probably moved.
Okay, so you're just picking a direction you think it moved in 40 feet that way, and then dropping a fireball there? Essentially?
Well, I guess 20, the center being 20 feet away so that the edge of the fireball would reach the group of people, and then it would be a total of 40 feet across to the other side. This is hard without a visual. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so let's say here. We've got where the first one was, where the group was, where the one that died second was, and then over here is where it disappeared, right?
Mm-hmm. And where like we had a group of us here, didn't we?
Yes, you had three of you there, or 4 of you now.
Yeah. Right, so if we were kind of like on this side of it, it was here, I'm assuming the fireball would be like, yay, like around here.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're just plopping it there so it barely touches the group in that direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. You throw out your fireball. A bunch of plants burn up, and you don't see the target. But there's a whole bunch of ground now that'll be much harder to hide in, as the fire has burnt up a lot of the plant matter in that area. But you're just throwing out big AoEs trying to find where it could be. It wasn't there, unfortunately. Good try, though.
Maybe we should just keep going.
Anything else, Faye?
I guess I'll move my spiritual weapon closer to us. I mean, no, I guess it's already here, so no.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
done.
at the triangle. Okay.
Yeah.
Clemens.
I cannot see the enemy, correct?
Nope. It slithered into the ground beneath your feet, and then you hardly even felt the ground move afterwards.
Hmm. Now, I am going to prepare an attack for if it comes within melee range of me, and I'll command the elemental to do the same.
Okay. Nakara. Yeah.
I will also try to find it, look around for it, see where it went.
Perception check, please.
20 total.
You're not really sure where it went. It's hard to see down here. You have dark vision, which is helping a lot, but you can tell these things are quite good at hiding when they need to in this specific environment.
Alright. Alright, well, then I think I'm gonna stay with everyone. I will stay still.
Okay.
And keep looking. Dodge, more or less.
Fair enough.
Well, no, that's a bonus action now, so no. We're just waiting.
All right. Oof. Okay. Nakarath, as you sit and wait, actually, I think pretty much everybody in the party, as you sit and wait, you hear a twig snap off in this direction, 40 feet. As it gets a natural one on its stealth to try and run for me.
Nice.
And it begins, after that happens, it begins scurrying at a much faster speed, but not stealthy anymore, as you see the underbrush just kind of kick up around it as it's now just prioritizing speed. Anka begins chasing after it, but she doesn't have enough speed to catch it, and she's trudging through the mud. Let's see. Bennett gets a 23 on his firebolt, which hits and does 11 fire damage to it. Karik, it's your turn. It is 40 feet away.
Alright, I move 40 feet towards it and cast a booming blade.
All right. Big finish. That's a hit.
So 18 damage total.
All right. With one swing of your blade, empowered with magical thunder, you smite this thing into the ground, where it just kind of reaches out for a second and then collapses, no longer able to move. And we're out of combat.
Huzzah.
Faye's gonna fly down to Anka immediately and just say, "Are you hurt? Did it hurt you? Are you okay?"
I only wish I could have hurt it more. No, I'm fine. Drag me through the mud, that's all. Felt like he was trying to just take me away from you all.
Yeah, I saw. I'm all right.
Underestimated
Stay
me.
close.
Thankfully.
Oh yeah.
Anka's still
Yeah, you
seething
could.
with anger. Begins wiping some of the mud off her face.
looked it up.
She kind of smooths her hair back to try and get some of the mud out of it.
Everyone all right?
Good look.
Yes, I'm perfectly fine, actually.
Mm-hmm. Those temporary hit points come in clutch.
Sure did.
All right. Good. Well, let's. Knowing they're out there, let's try to get to the structure as quick as we can. Still got a reading on the compass?
Take a look at the compass.
Indeed, you do.
Looks like it.
Before we go, does anyone know what these are? Strange creatures?
Well, they look like snake people to me. So I suppose that's what they're called.
I've seen a few of them around and about. Never really a good sign. Very greedy.
Wonderful.
Not much morality typically to speak of. They tend to, from what I understand, I keep to the seas, but I hear talk of them in Stormreach. They, every once in a while, they'll, anyone who's out alone and close to the woods will get snatched up by them and brought in and never heard from again.
Wonderful. All right.
We're organized. We've made a statement.
Well, hopefully there aren't too many in the pyramid as I go knock on a tree. But that's not our luck, is it?
I'd say the quicker the better.
All right. Well, let's go. Well, do they have anything interesting on them?
Each one has a handful of weapons on them. They are pretty much naturally armored by their scales. So they each have a scimitar, a longbow, handful of arrows. They seem to not really carry much on them.
Okay.
Give me an investigation check though.
Okay. Four.
Yeah, you find some very basic food supplies that don't look terribly appetizing to you.
Well, that's not quite useful. I'll probably just drop it and move on.
Fair enough. All right, so do you all continue to trudge towards the pyramid?
Yes.
All right.
We don't go in separate directions this time, do we?
You begin to, but again,
no.
you have that urge and the urge to like, yeah, this way's the pyramid. Totally, that's naturally the way I think the pyramid is.
Obviously, that's the place he just told us it was.
Yeah, like you Kark points off in a direction, you nod to yourself, and then you look off in a different direction. You start to head that way, and you have to like keep Kark in your sights to like stay with him. And Kark, every time you look away from the compass as well, it almost feels like you begin to subconsciously turn in strange directions, haphazardly. But since you're aware of the curse and you have a device with which to move, you're able to walk pretty normally, all things considered. Nakarth, you watch everybody else in the group stumble around a little bit as if they're drunk and can't quite keep their direction straight. But I mean, you're leaping from tree to tree. You feel like you're managing to keep up just fine.
Strange. Well, I'll do my best to help guide people along.
All right. So, Since you have a device to lead you, I won't make you roll any checks to navigate in that direction. Instead, I will ask everybody to make me a round of perception checks as you walk in this direction. As you were so recently ambushed, I would assume that some of you are keeping an eye out.
Disadvantage for dim light, correct?
Disadvantage for dim light, correct.
Yo.
If you have no dark vision. Okay. So y'all keep an eye out as you travel. Carrick is the most perceptive. He has to spend a little bit less of his time worrying about keeping an eye on another party member. More time to look around. As the rest of you are kind of occasionally making sure you focus on Carrick so that you stay with Carrick. In the Kareth, you're rushing around, but you're distracted by the party's weird movements. But thankfully, Carrick's able to keep a pretty good eye out. You continue towards this pyramid structure. And it's not too long before you're able to finally see it ahead of you. It is massive. It looks a lot larger than you thought when you saw it previously. Still in the distance, but finally its form is becoming perceptible to you, even through all of this dense foliage and dim light. And you can see at the base of the structure quite a lot of commotion. And you begin to hear sounds ahead of you. Again, commotion. Things being smithed and sawed. The sounds of civilization and people hustling and bustling about. You also hear whips being cracked and orders being barked. The sounds of things being carted and dragged around, and the sounds of things being constructed. It's all off in the distance and kind of jumbled together into a cacophony. But finally there's sound in this eerie, silent jungle.
This is unexpected.
What the hell is that? Does it sound like humanoid speech? Like sounds of people? I'm trying to discern whether I think it's a colony of those snakes or if it's some sort of settlement.
You hear very occasionally some common words inserted here and there. You also hear quite a lot of Draconic. Faye recognizes. I think a few of the others
I
in the game
have
just
that.
checked Faye's specifically.
I do.
I also understand it.
So yeah, there's lots of orders being barked out in Draconic especially. So there are, humanoid languages ahead of you.
Why don't everyone hang back? I will take a look.
Okay.
Do you want any help?
I mean, any aid you wish to give is accepted.
Yeah, I'll try to provide backup quietly.
Okay. As I will climb up a tree and begin to jump branch to branch as quietly as I can to take a look ahead, see what's going on.
All right, and Carrick, are you just flying along stealthily as well?
Yep.
All right, can I get stealth checks from both of you, please?
$26.
Damn.
16 plus 10, let's go.
All right. Nikarith climbs up a little higher in the trees, stays above typical sight lines, and utilizes each tree as he passes between them as cover between him and the target. Karek, as you fly along behind him, You realize that your movements are much less dexterous than Nakaris at the moment. You try to dash between the trees to keep up with him, but your movements just don't keep you out of sight as long as his does. So you make your way in towards this town. You do see it is a settlement of some kind, sprawling, built around this giant structure that has been overridden with plants and just erosion. The forces of nature have eaten away at it over time. The entire structure appears to have been colonized, as well as a sprawling community around the base of it. The primary population appears to be various types of snake people, Yuan-Ti, as you saw previously. Some are all snake with little human, some are all human with a little snake. Some of them are weird with extra snakes for arms or multiple arms and weird tentacle-like patterns, and some of them appear to be part human that just has been twisted and warped, and like only one of their arms has become a snake and they are mindlessly doing slave labor. Lots of things are being constructed. Food is being gathered. Hunting parties are returning. Things of that nature. There is a bustling Yuan-Ti city here.
Oh, shit.
This is
Time
problematic.
for an orbital strike. We've got one of those, right?
Is the compass pointing towards any certain area of the city?
Right now, towards the structure. So right in the middle.
And does it seem like, I don't know, how far is that from us right now?
You've managed to stay pretty far away at the moment. You just kind of gained some elevation in order to see it a little better. Is several hundred feet, I'd say, maybe farther from like the closest buildings.
Okay. Is it heavily guarded? Would I be able to see from here?
Yeah, there are patrolling very similar abominations to the ones you saw previously.
Yeah, we might need to fly in. I can't imagine walking into this will be easy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, we need a plan. Let's regroup.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll sneak back.
Okay. You return to the group, bearing the news.
So there's a whole entire city of them?
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh dear.
And right smack dab in the middle of their city is where we need to go.
I could have Elemental just run in and start causing mayhem. Look how tall he is. I have to imagine he'd give them quite a lot of trouble.
That would help. Let me see.
We can't fight a city. And if this is in the middle, I don't know if we're sneaking in. That seems lucky at best.
Well, I can make up to 4 of us invisible for an hour. Wait. Am I doing math right? No. 3 of us invisible for an hour.
I can cast regular invisibility on myself also.
So that's almost all of us. I think
I could also cast it on an additional creature if I wanted to spend a 3rd level slot on it.
I'm just thinking that while we still have the chance, we shouldn't rule out the option of approaching in good faith and trying to do some amount of diplomacy here.
To be fair, I don't know if they would listen. They seem to be rather fond of their slave labor.
And they did just hunt us without trying to engage.
Yeah, that was a hunting party for sure. But if we make it clear that we are a threat, if they raise arms against us, but that we are not there for violence.
Are we a threat against an entire city? I'm actually somewhat impressed at how much meat, I suppose, is on their bones. They really didn't just die immediately, which is what I assumed when I looked at them. But
No.
I wonder, did they send their elites out? Did we,
Well, that's
cripple their strongest, most decorated fighters, or were those just, the interns they sent out to do the chores?
Well, the way you described it, weren't
There were a
kind of
number
like
of
the
similar
guards.
creatures on patrol. Those seem to be their guards, more or less.
Yeah, so that's not the whole city. They have civilians.
They have other mutated ones that don't seem nearly as formidable.
I'm sure there's ones we haven't seen that are probably more powerful as well.
True.
And you also have to consider that this is their home turf. Not only do they, know where everything is far better than we will, but they'll also have the the psychological advantage of protecting the civilians and such against us. Probably make them nice and mad.
And that's why I wouldn't like them to discover us sneaking through their midst and just swarm upon and kill us on the spot.
What if they just do that when we walk right in?
If we approach, hail, and make an effort, then I figure that's our only shot to negotiate some way to figure this out. Remember, listen, I'd be more if this was a scenario where we knew exactly what we were walking into and we need to do an extract and run, then I would feel differently. But we don't know what's in there. And if we're trying to contend with figuring this out and also not make our presence known to an entire city of Yuan-Ti, that feels daunting to me. I can speak their language. We can, Garrick. Not to take a moral angle here, but I like to put forth an extension that maybe in their city they're capable of more than murder on sight.
Okay.
And
In the event, what's our backup plan then if things go wrong?
if we approach and they listen to no words and rush us with murderous intent, we flee. And at that point, yeah, we'll look at some infiltration.
We flee in the middle of their jungle, not to mention a jungle that seems intent on dragging us apart from each other and making us lost forever, if we're not utterly focused on what we're doing.
And the muck is not easy for us who can't fly.
Yes, that's all.
Escape is not going to be easy.
Can we even speak their language?
A couple of us can. Me and Faye.
There was common spoken to, not only Draconic.
Oh, gotcha.
There was also some other words scattered in there that I'm not sure the entire anyone on the party understood.
I can understand all spoken language.
Right, and you were up at the front, so you would understand it. I don't know if you'd be able to identify it though, but you'd be able to understand it either way. Yeah, true.
I've only got common and undercommon.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in the party was able to identify the third language that was being barked around. But I mean, at the very least, you have some common ground, and Nakarath can understand anything. So
Now, just finally, to address the escape comment. Carrick, how many people can you make fly?
If I use the extent of my abilities, I can make up to 2 other people fly.
And
I would be comfortable at max making one other person fly.
so we can cover everybody. Because if we have flight, we can get out of here. I was able to just clear the tree line before. Once you're out of the tree line, we're fine.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to come to that, but if we're not going to have to do this on foot, we can get Bennett, Anka, and Nakarath all into the air.
Okay. And even if we have to escape, we should have enough time to fly right to the ship. Or at least get close.
Oh, we're above the tree line. I feel like we can get right there. Not having to go through any undergrowth or anything.
And then we can regroup and possibly come back tomorrow once we're... Well, I wouldn't mind coming back with a full tank of spells, if you know what I mean.
Oh, sure thing. Let's see what we can do. I wanna make this. I want to roll these dice, so to speak.
Nakarath,
Yep.
as y'all are having this conversation, you feel a presence in the back of your mind.
Oh shit. I look around.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Jesus fucking Christ, not 20 for a 25.
Okay.
Nice.
You're like, you feel this like prick in the back of your neck. Basically, you look around real quick. You wonder, it wasn't like you heard anything at first. It was like you felt something with your mind.
Oh,
And you
no,
just look around and you see, as you spin, some motion duck behind the tree. With a 25, I'd say you see in because it's so high above their stealth check, an insectoid head duck behind a tree. Large, human-sized head.
I project. I mind link to it. Hello? Who are you?
Does mind link require you to speak a same language or just understand a language?
Pretty sure it's just a language.
Okay.
Must be able to understand at least one language.
All right. So you reach out to it with your normal thought. You just send it. What did you say again? Sorry, I was very concerned with that.
Basically just, who are you? What are your intentions?
All right.
I say, staring right at it.
Mm-hmm. You don't get words back. You get the emotion of shock and then fear. And then you start to see this, whatever it is, scuttling away, sprinting through the underbrush. It has been spotted. It is fleeing.
Whoop. No, I'm gonna take a chance and say, look, I think I saw perhaps a Thri-Kreen, and I'm going to follow it.
All right, so Dakarath, you take off after it?
Yep, because I think I can navigate this curse.
And you are faster than it, so you managed to catch up to it. And it is indeed a Thrycreen that you catch up to. And as you get closer to it, it eventually spins and draws a long spear-like weapon, holds it out just kind of in a defensive stance as it backs away from you.
I hold my arms up. If you mean no harm, then we mean no harm as well.
It slowly stands up and just kind of holds the spear to the side, and then raises its other claw-like hand. Kind of
Like
clicks
out to
its
shape.
mandible at you. A bit.
Sorry. But yeah, I will go through the mind like, please, what is your name? Because they can also speak back to me through the mind link.
Mm-hmm. So the challenge here is that Thrycreen communicate with almost entirely non-verbal language. They don't speak. They communicate through conveying their intentions and emotions to others psionically. So it is responding to you, but not directly through a mind link. Though it does understand language, it's not necessarily speaking back to you in language, if that makes sense. But it's communicating to you in the way that it communicates, which is just sort of projecting abstract thoughts. And so you ask for its name, and it seems incredibly puzzled by the concept of what you're asking.
Oh dear. Shit, I don't have anything to offer it. I'll be like, come speak with my party. Friend? I hold out my hand like as if to shake.
It inches towards you again with its hands still kind of raised, trying to indicate that it's not trying to be a threat either. But it doesn't seem to regard you as a friend.
That's fair. We only just met.
It gets up close to you and it takes its spear and begins to draw something in the mud. It draws a snake, and then it adds arms, and then it stabs it with its spear.
Oh, yes. No, don't like them either.
It chitters happily.
They just attacked us and we dispatched 3 of them.
It nods, brandishes its spear, and turns around towards the city and just kind of like shakes the spear at it.
Say, we believe they have something we need. Would you be able to help us in any way? Or can we help you fight them?
It begins to draw on the ground again. It draws a bunch of other like ant-like figures. And then it draws a fence around them, and it draws snakes on the outside of the fence. And it just kind of taps the spear on the ant-like creatures.
Do you have a city?
It shakes its head.
No?
It draws a whip in the hands of the snake-like creatures.
Oh, okay. Oh, it has it enslaved your people?
It nods.
Ah. Perhaps we can try to break them free.
It nods.
Come, speak with my comrades. Well, let me introduce you.
It scrapes away the drawing on the ground and then lines up behind you.
All right, and then I will bring him back to everyone.
All right. Nakareth comes back to the group with a very large ant-like creature that has 6 limbs in total, so 2 legs and 2 sets of arms. Brandishes quite a large spear and is covered with, insectoid armor.
So we might have potential allies. Apparently, the Yuan-Ti have enslaved this fine Thrycrean's comrades.
It nods.
So we might be not entirely alone. In our endeavor to get into the city. At the very least, it's a distraction for us to find what we need while we help get everyone out.
Boy, we got our work cut out for us then.
Yeah.
This is good. This is better than what we had a moment ago.
Now, do you have any idea where in the compound your people are?
It nods.
Huh. That's very useful. Can you make us a map?
It begins to draw in the mud. It draws the large pyramid-like structure with the towers that have collapsed and all of that. And it begins to draw little segmented areas around it. And then it points to one of them as just keeps on tapping on that one location with its foot.
I'm sorry, points to what?
It's made a map. It's made a map of like the area around the structure, and then it's just kind of like pointing to a location in the city. It doesn't seem to have made much like structure to the buildings or anything like that. It's just kind of like it's a drawn map in mud. There's not much detail.
Fair.
It's just like at the bottom of the pyramid, like 2/3 of the way to the right, just like this spot here, like.
Okay, roughly in that area.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's certainly a place to start.
It nods.
Now, did you escape from them or did you evade capture?
It mimics ducking and hiding.
Okay, so you have not been
ducks behind a tree and then changes the color of its carapace to blend in with the tree.
Oh, surprisingly stealthy.
It pops back out completely orange and nods.
So, what do you say we take a rest and then we can try to figure this out tomorrow?
Seems like a plan.
It turns around and shakes its spear at the city, but then turns back to you all and nods.
Indeed. Do you have a name?
it tilts its head with confusion.
I don't think they understand the concept of a name. I think they are just thrycreen that serve the whole.
It still looks very puzzled by just the entire conversation.
Well, is there anything you'd like to be called?
It still looks very puzzled.
What if we call you, and I pointed her, Green?
It still looks puzzled, but it kind of like shrugs and nods a little bit, like, sure, I guess. It shrugs with all 4 of its arms, by the way.
It's cheeky.
I want to mind link it and ask, so hopefully it understands this concept. Do you share a mind? Can you telepathically speak to the other members of your colony?
It nods.
From here?
It shakes its head.
Interesting. That's all. That was all I was curious about. Thank you for humoring me.
It nods and chitters happily.
Do you know if the Yuan-Ti have magic at their disposal?
It nods emphatically.
Oh, wonderful.
With its eyes kind of, it's an ant. It has very wide eyes already, but its eyes go even wider as it's nodding, like, uh-huh.
You wouldn't happen to have seen something like, as I, Carrick, would you show it the tablet?
Oh, sure. And he'll pull it out of the bag of holding.
You wouldn't happen to have seen something like this in their possession, would you?
He kind of chitters for a second, like kind of like muttering something to itself as it tilts its head back and forth and squints, and it points down to the map that it made earlier, and it just kind of gestures at the area below, and says no, shakes its head no, but then points up to like the pyramid structure and just shrugs with all 4 hands again.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere up there. Did we see anything on top of the pyramid? Wasn't there like a lake or something on top of the pyramid structure?
Yeah, you saw quite a lot of water at the top. That sort of, several small waterfalls here and there, trickling down to different pools and basins along the outside of it.
Wow. This should be interesting.
Should we try and take them to the ship, or should we have them meet us here again tomorrow?
I assumed that we would sleep in the canopy or something.
That works too. Ask it if it knows a good place to camp out.
I relay the message.
It seems puzzled.
Do you have a place to rest for the night? Safe?
It kind of draws its head back, like, rest for the night. What? Like, very confused by the concept of that.
Do you sleep?
Jason said no.
Oh. Well, do you have a place that we could safely prepare ourselves for tomorrow?
When you say the word safe, it seems to understand and things kind of click together. But it shakes its head no. It's like, safe place. No.
It would seem this jungle is no match. They're no match for this jungle.
It draws an ant running away from snakes and then just like dotted lines all over the place.
You just keep moving.
It nods, yeah.
Well then, yeah. So let's use our spells to get us all up into the trees and prepare a little nest so that we could sleep for the night, and all of our spellcasters can get their spells back.
What time of day is it?
Really hard to tell. You've been down here a while. The sunlight is barely filtering through the trees. You'd estimate, I mean, you traveled for most of the day before settling down here originally, and you've been down here for a while walking around. Late afternoon, maybe early evening. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, let's get a little farther away from the city and try and find a place to set up shelter.
Yeah.
I can fly one person in addition to myself up into the trees.
I'm sure I can just run.
Alright, so is the goal for you two guys to all like make your way up into the canopy of the trees and like make a shelter up there, or are you just trying to get
I believe so.
far enough away from the city? Okay, and in the canopy of the trees, gotcha. So Clemens can get herself and one other person up. We'll say that's Venet. That still leaves Anka on the ground. Faye can fly, Carrot can fly, Nakarth can run. So I think that just leaves Anka still unable to make it up.
Eric, can you give her fly since we're gonna get all our spells back for tomorrow anyway?
Yeah, I can. He will cast fly at 4th level, so Anka, Venet, and Nakarth. Or Nakarth doesn't need it. Clemens then.
I think Clemens already cast it on herself and Venet.
Oh, then I'll just use one 3rd level.
All right. So, with those spell slots consumed, you can all fly up into the canopy, and the ant will just climb up trees after you, much like Nakarth does.
Nice.
It actually, from the ground, it appears to just leap up at a tree, quite a few feet into the air, like maybe 30 or so feet into the air, stick to the tree, then just kind of wind up and leap up higher into the tree and grab onto the branches again, and sort of much Nakarth does a lot of smaller movements on the way up. This thing does very few, very long movements to get around, but it's similar in a way.
Jump good.
Carrick is gonna start trying to take some rope and form almost like a net between some branches, and then if there's some large enough leaves, I'll try and stuff those in the net to try and create some bedding.
All right, make me a survival check.
Does anyone want to help him out?
I don't. Does anyone have proficiency?
I do not.
I mean, Carrick doesn't either. He's just doing his best.
Anka will help. She has proficiency.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
hey, you know what? Hey, we're going to bed. I'll flash it to a 21.
21. All right, so you're making just a nice big structure, giant hammock for everybody to sleep in, or are you making individual ones? What's the idea here?
Oh yeah, I was trying to make like one big one.
Okay. Well, the 21, with Anka's help, you managed to make a structure that's large enough for most of you. Crane, the ant, the thri-crane, sort of crawls off onto a branch and then just almost fades into it as all other colors blend in with the wood around them. And they just sit there, and you can just see their eyes blinking against the tree. I'd say there'd be room here on this with the amount of rope you've got, and not have a skill check for 4 of you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would, if I ran out of rope, I would probably be able to get rope from other people. But are you assuming that I'm using everyone's rope?
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a lot of rope, so I'd imagine that you'd all kind of pull your rope together.
Fair.
Yeah. So so let's see. There's still 2 of you might have to. Those of you who are most confident in your balance could pick a particularly sturdy few branches or something.
Well, there's 6 of us, so we could do watches and shifts of 2.
That could work too.
That's fair.
That's smart. Good call. Yeah.
All right. We will start with that next time. We'll end for tonight, but we will pick up with you all making watches in groups of 2 in your first night in the jungles of Zundrick.
Thank you very much, Jordan.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you so much.